Welcome into the lounge presented by DraftKings. We have the pleasure of sitting down with Kevin Zeitler today. And my first question for you is, what percentage would you say of your outfits feature a sleeveless shirt? Like, how often are you sleeveless?
I'd say majority.
Majority. And dead of winter, doesn't matter, sleeveless.
It really doesn't. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to walk to your car for 2 steps and it'll be warm before you know it.
I'm kind of that way too. Like in the winter, like if you're indoors, what's the difference between summer and winter?
Agreed, 100%.
Now, is it like a comfort thing, or is it when you have guns? You know, I'm not quite as yoked as you. I'm getting there. But, like, is it a gun show or it's just a style comfort thing? What is it?
I'd say it's just a comfort thing.
Okay.
Not much more range of motion without sleeves.
Range of motion, nice.
I am always impressed during pregame. Like, you don't care about the temp. Like, you'll go out there and what you got on right now, short sleeves and shorts, and go through your pregame routine, even when it was 10 degrees on that Christmas Eve game. Tell me about that kind of mentality before a game.
I mean, I think more so, I think it's just getting a feel for what it's going to feel like. You know, you don't have adrenaline yet. You know how cold it's actually going to be, but luckily once you get the pads on and get rolling, adrenaline, you know, takes over and you don't feel it like that. So it's just trying to get a taste of what, you know, the worst could be.
All right, so, going into the playoffs, I guess my big picture question is just what's the mood of the team? You know, what's it like in the locker room? How are guys kind of feeling as you enter the postseason?
I mean, everyone's excited again. You know, the playoffs is a brand new season. Last year, obviously, the season ended the way it did and we didn't make it. So, you know, I think everyone here with all the vets, all the young guys, you know, everyone's excited to be back, you know, and it doesn't really matter, you know, you're in. So you have a chance, and that's all that matters.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Sunday's game, obviously, you rested, a handful of guys rested in that game, but it kind of looked like a game you would have loved to play in. Like, it was kind of a rivalry, chippy type game, and I'm like, I bet Zeitler would love that type of game. I mean, was it hard to watch that one?
Oh, absolutely. You know, when you're on the sideline, all you are is a fan. You know, I was talking with a couple of guys, and we're just like, geez, we feel so useless right now because you are. And, you know, I mean, it was the best thing for the team, you know, some of us to have a game off, and now we have to get ready, and we better take advantage of it and, you know, come out firing for this week.
Do you get the sense that it felt like this way watching the game, like this rivalry is becoming greater, more intense? Like,
well, and you've seen both sides. You've
right.
been on the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
Does it feel like that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you feel that way as a player, and am I on to something with that?
I mean, I think so. You know, the Bengals are absolutely firing on all cylinders these last 2 seasons right now, and, you know, deservedly so. They've played well. They deserve to have an edge to them. And the Ravens, we've had a lot of success, you know, prior to when I've gone here and, you know, through this year. So it's just 2 good teams, a lot of big personalities, and it's going to be a big game.
All right, take us back. You know, as I mentioned, you were drafted by the Bengals. You're a former Bengal. Take us back. What did you think of the Ravens when you were a Bengal? Ooh, get the inside scoop from the other side.
I mean, you know, when I was there, you know, we always knew it was going to be a tough game. Always known for the defense, always known for, you know, it's never an easy place to play at. You know, we always knew we're going to get everything, you know, thrown at us, and it was always going to be a tough game.
Yeah. Now, your first 4 years in the league, you went to the playoffs every year. You know, rookie year, each game bounced. The Bengals got bounced the first time. Does that impact you? You haven't been back to the playoffs since. Does that impact your mentality going into it this year? Like, I'm back. We're winning a game this time. You know.
Yeah. You know, I'd really like to cross that one off the list. That would be great.
Yeah. I mean, is that something that's like in the back of your mind, kind of as you go into this?
I mean, I'm not going to worry about that. All that matters is the game, and you know, all of us have to, no matter who's out there, have to give our best. I mean, that's the only way we can get it done.
Right.
I know when you signed here, you kind of talked about the idea of being on a team that can compete for a championship and compete for a playoff spot. Now that you're in the playoffs and you have a chance here, you know, anything can happen now that you're in the dance. Is this kind of like, this is what you envisioned when you signed here last year?
Oh, absolutely. You know, a chance to compete again, chance just to get back into this tournament again. You know, the Ravens had a great, you know, history of being able to compete, get here, and now that we're here, it's on us to perform our best and, you know, get something done.
You guys are obviously running the ball at a really, really high level. You know, with the whole Lamar situation and the uncertainty about whether he's going to be able to play and whatnot, you know, I think a lot of people look at this offense and say, hey, man, if they can run the ball like that, like they've been running it in the regular season, like whoever's under center, that offense can work. You know what I mean? As an offensive lineman, do you kind of feel that as you enter the playoffs saying, like, all right, you know, it might have to be the bread and butter here. We're going to have to pave the way, you know, for this offense.
I mean, I think it helps. Anytime a team can run the ball, especially in the postseason, I think it helps, sets up a lot of things.
Yeah.
And, for us, I think that's our best chance if we can keep doing what we have been doing.
Right. Is there a feeling, or was there a feeling developing here late in the season that, like, we can run on anybody? They're going to stack the box. We know what they're going to do. They're expecting this, but we can run on anybody.
I mean, I think that's a Baltimore Raven expectation. The last couple of years, all the rushing, the different ways it's been done. I mean, we always had to find an answer in some way, shape, or form. And even when it's stacked against us, we had to find a way to push through.
Right.
Is that kind of an O-lineman's dream? Like a run? I just always hear offensive linemen talk about, like, we had Ben Powers on a few weeks ago, and he talked about how, like, when it's a fourth quarter and they know you're running, but you can still do it and have success. Like, that is what dreams are made of as an offensive lineman. Do you feel that way too?
I mean, absolutely. It's a good, it's just a great power feel, helps set the, tone of the game and all that. And it makes you feel like, you're contributing.
Yeah.
Right. With this offense right now, do you feel like, hey, we're putting up yards, like we're moving the ball and it's going to come down to the red zone, that like punching in there, being able to run in the red zone is going to be kind of the key to the playoffs?
I mean, it always is, in the end, it's who can score one more point than the other team.
Right.
And however we get points, whatever it takes, that's what we got to do.
How much has it really helped the health of the offensive line? Obviously, Ronnie early in the year was still coming back from the ankle, but for the most part, you've had that continuity. How big of a difference does that make?
I mean, it's big. People always talk about the O-line needs some time to work together and figure each other out. And going into the season, we had, basically a whole new O-line other than me and Powers for a bit.
Right.
So, as the season went on, we kept building it, and it kept getting better. And then when guys needed to step in here and there, they did outstanding as well. So I think we're really lucky. We have a lot of depth and people who've played together. So whatever happens or whoever's out there, we can get the job done.
I think what's really interesting about this offense and the O-line is, you all get to do a little bit of everything, right? Like, you never know who's going to be pulling on any given play. What do you like better? You get to pull, you come around and you see like a corner, a safety even, and you get to just square that dude up and you're already on the move. Or just come off the ball and just try to drive that defensive lineman back. What do you prefer?
I mean, it's whatever's going to help the team. Like, they're both good. No matter what it is, whatever we're called on, I think that's what's great about our group. It doesn't matter what's called or what's expected. We're going to find a way to get it done.
Right. What does a defensive back's eyes look like when you come around on the pull block?
I mean, they're there.
When you talk about some of the new pieces along the offensive line, obviously a big one is Tyler Linderbaum playing right next to you. What has stood out to you about him?
I mean, I think just his natural ability. Like, he has the ability to run. He has the ability to move. He can process and think and make calls. So he has all, the stuff you need to be successful. And then he just keeps getting better and better every week.
Yeah, like you look at the advanced metrics, the PFF rankings or whatever on him, they're all high. It's like by every indication he's having a really good rookie season, and as a first-round pick, there's a lot of expectations. You're in the room with him every day. Like, how did you see him sort of handle the expectations of being a first-round pick and coming in as a starter from day one and having a lot kind of on his shoulders?
I mean, he just took it in stride. He kept working hard every day, kept getting better every day, and it was never too big for him. So he just stepped right in and got to work.
For you, in your second season here, when you get signed to a nice contract and you're a veteran, like, people look at you as a leader, and you joined that offensive line. You and Ronnie are kind of like the leaders of that group, and obviously, he didn't play last year really, so you kind of, are that guy. How much do you embrace that role as a leader of this line and this offense?
I mean, I think, I'm a vet guy who's been around with different places, so I try to, keep everyone in perspective, like, even if it's hard here, it could be harder somewhere else. There's a lot of different ways to get things done. We can float ideas off each other and stuff like that. So it's just like, trying to keep everyone calm, keep everyone focused and, keep moving forward.
Now, you're kind of well known for doing your pass sets, working on your craft at all times. During the delivery of your child, the birth of your child, you're in the hospital room doing pass sets and whatnot. Your wife posted that video. Just at any time, Can you talk about kind of your never-ending desire to always be working on your craft?
I mean, I think it came, back from, I always felt like I was behind. I played high school football in Wisconsin, which back then was not heavily recruited
Right.
at all. you see all these guys in your class all over the country getting offers everywhere. So I was like, oh, shoot, I'm behind. So, the only way I could do, outwork, try to catch up. And, so you get the offer. Then you get to college. Oh, I better outwork everyone to keep advancing. Well, I work too. And then same with the NFL. Oh, I'm here 11 years later, still going.
Right.
So it's just part of it. It's part of the belief that you put the work in, it'll all work out.
Right. Now your wife, Sarah, also told some other good stories. One of which was during high school dances, you would peace out on the dance and go to the weight room instead. Is it because you're not a dancer or you just love lifting weights that much?
I think I was just that focused at the time. Yeah, the grades a dance, but I have better things to do.
I guess it all worked out with her. You still landed her.
Absolutely.
So it all worked out.
That's awesome. That mentality that you have, do you think that's why you've lasted 11 years in the league?
I think so. I think it helps. You don't want anyone to outwork you. You have to keep going. You keep doing all the little things like recovery, treatment. Finding new ways to improve. Keep searching. Keep growing. It's the only way you can keep moving and keep I don't know, keep locked in.
Right. Is there ever a desire, I'm just going back to the pass setting in public thing. Do you ever, if you're at a movie theater, you're watching a movie, you can't really get up, is there an itch inside you that's I could be doing pass, this movie sucks. I could get up right now and do pass sets, but it's not really socially acceptable in a movie. You know what I mean? Any scenarios like that you ever encounter?
I don't think it's that crazy, but
I'm getting a little
I'm sure it's
away,
happened, but I don't think it's that crazy.
For going back to the mentality thing real quick, it seems like you're playing, do you feel like, and watching you, it seems like you're playing some of the best football of your career, and you're 11. And that's not often the case. Oftentimes guys go like this, once they reach double digits, if they are lucky enough to get there. And it seems like you are still ascending. Do you feel that way, and why is that the case?
I think the offense here fits me well. The things they asked me to do. I think it just my strengths, matched very well here so far. And then I think, that kind of crazy desire, to keep improving, I can't let it, drop off. Once you get this age, you start letting something drop, people are going to be like, nope, go away. So can't be doing that.
Yeah. Right. Now, one thing I really like about you that I noticed when you walked in is you have O-lineman hands. Can you show this to the camera up here? It's the finger here. I was like, is your finger all right? And you said...
it's permanently stuck and disabled, so.
Right, how do you block with your finger bent like that? Do you just ram that right into the guy? How do you do that?
Kind of just deal with it. It just magically kind of happens. I don't
just
exactly
magically
know.
Kind of happens.
Don't exactly know how it works.
It's O-lineman hands. You stepped into the spot that Marshall Yonda played, and he's also got some gnarly hands too. So you guys are, you perfect matches.
It's like a rite of passage, I feel
like. I must say, I remember coming in rookie and seeing guys with hands oh, my hands will never be like that. Oh, well. It's not how that works in this league.
It's kind of like the wrestler. You were a former high school wrestler. It's like the wrestler ear. You avoided the wrestler's ears, but you got the lineman hands.
Yep, absolutely.
And you made a nice career out of it, so it all worked out. Yep. Well, Kevin, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
you got some hearty handshake, too. That should be expected.
Good luck this week, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thanks to Kevin. Good to talk with him. And we also want to give a shout-out to our friends at DraftKings because even though it's playoffs, sports landscape is ever-changing, and this week is no different. DraftKings is the leader in daily fantasy sports, and it still has daily fantasy contests running for those who are looking to have skin in the game. So this is simple. Every player has a salary associated with drafting them. You assemble a lineup of players. You try to stay under that salary cap, and then you sit back and you watch your points pile up. So you can go ahead and sign up today by using the code FLOCK at DraftKings. New users get a free deposit with their first entry. Again, the code is FLOCK at DraftKings.
You're getting pretty good. You almost don't even have to look at the phone to read the script. You're getting pretty good.
I'm good.
Anyway, good stuff from Kevin. As always, good to hear from the Maulers up front. And they're going to have to be a big part of this game, as always, but even bigger because we're recording this as of Wednesday, and we don't know. We don't know if he's going to play or not. That's the big question, Lamar, but he's not practicing on Wednesday.
Yep.
So not what you want to see. Tyler Huntley is also not throwing on Wednesday. So not what we were hoping for going out to practice today.
Yep.
So it could be a run heavy script. I mean, maybe, with Snoop you just give him as much time without throwing as possible to try to get the shoulder as right as possible. And you say, whatever, the guy knows the offense. Maybe you get a day of throwing some in practice this week or whatever, and you just try to get the shoulder as right as possible. Or it doesn't get right, and Anthony Brown has to start the game. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway you slice it, I would like to see.
I would
like to see the Ravens run the ball a lot.
I think that there was everyone kind of collectively, the entire city of Baltimore, state of Maryland, football world, was kind of holding its breath collectively to see if Lamar Jackson was at practice today.
Exactly.
And this is an injury that's going on for more than a month now, and there's been different reports over the course of this entire time. Many that made you feel like, okay, this is the week. This is the day.
Strong chance he's going to be back for the playoffs.
Oh, I mean, I'm going back.
Uphill battle, and then it's
no, but I'm going back. I mean,
back.
No, I'm saying like right around Christmas time, it was like, well, he's going to be back for that Christmas Eve game. Okay, well, he's going to be back the next week.
Right.
And so we haven't heard from Lamar, and everything that the Ravens have said, John Harbaugh has said, it's like Lamar's doing everything he can to get back. It's not ready yet.
Right.
And so you just are kind of left to listen to the reports that are out there.
Which have not been accurate.
The entire time, And so now this week, it's an uphill battle. And then obviously, like you just said, he's not practicing on Wednesday. I think that it's certainly fair to wonder whether he's going to make it to the game. He hasn't played in over a month. I think that he has to practice at some point in order to play. That's my guess. That he would, if he doesn't practice at all, that's not at all a good sign for his availability for Sunday.
Right. You were also just hoping, there was hope that he could at least get out to the practice field and try it out.
Yeah, see how it feels. Right.
See how it feels. And now he might have very well done that or be doing that with trainers in his own rehab work.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's like some testing going on.
I'm sure he's testing it behind the scenes.
Exactly. And it would just be an encouraging sign to see if, okay, let's test it in practice now. That would be another step in the process, and we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. So there's a chance that Anthony Brown is the guy again for this game. Now, I do think the offense, let's just say it is Anthony Brown for discussion's sake here for a second. I know some Ravens fans could say, okay, well, now it's just going to be a repeat of last week. I don't think that's the case. There was key players missing on offense. Kevin Zeitler, who we just talked to, being one of them. Mark Andrews, another big player, being another. J.K. Dobbins. So those guys were out. Put them back in the lineup, and I think that it does look like a different offense.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's just, look, we all want Lamar Jackson to play. We all would love Tyler Huntley to be available to play. But even if they're not, and I'm not just drinking the purple Kool-Aid here, I'm not canceling the game, okay? I still think the Ravens should get on the flight and go to Cincinnati because this defense is legitimate. And
the running game.
And the running game is legitimate. It's something we're going to talk about too, in addition to this game.
And
obviously,
quite frankly, like, let's also not, like, Anthony Brown made some plays. He made some good throws.
Yeah.
Like, let's not sit here and pretend like they can't throw the ball at all. Like, the passing offense just shut her down and throw the ball 0 times. Like, they're going to have to make plays in the passing game, especially if they were to get from behind in the game. And Anthony Brown, like, to his credit, I think it deserves to be said that he played better in the second half of that game, right? And, like, he's got a live arm. Dude can throw the ball, and he can throw the ball downfield. And so, do I feel great about having an undrafted rookie quarterback making his second NFL start in the playoffs in Cincinnati? No, I don't feel great about that, right? That's not the ideal scenario, right, that anybody draws up. And is it going to be harder for the Ravens offense to have a day and put up 20-plus points? Yes, it's going to be harder to do that. But, like, to stick a fork in the Ravens offense altogether and, like, overlook the positive things that they have going for them and the positive things that we saw from Anthony Brown in the second half of that Bengals game, I think is just being a negative Nelly.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, if the Ravens are going to win this game, if Anthony Brown is the guy who gets the start, then he's just going to have to avoid the turnovers. I mean, he had 3 turnovers, two picks, and
I wouldn't put all.
I'm not saying it's all 100% his fault, but I'm saying
exactly,
there were 3 turnovers.
Yes, that's
correct. 2 picks and a fumble, and then Sammy Watkins had the fumble. If they're going to win with Anthony Brown as quarterback, you're probably talking about a turnover-free game, and then you're talking about a couple big plays down the field, like he hit to Sammy Watkins minus the fumble.
Right. Yeah, totally. And that's the formula. Like I've said, I feel like a broken record. You just have to make some plays in the passing game. In some critical situations, you're not going to be. You can't. I know that like we're all, I talk to fans and it's like, well, just run the ball 3 times. It's 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, and then 1st and 10. Like you're gonna be in situations where sometimes on 1st and 10 the run's gonna get stuffed sometimes. And like you're gonna have to throw the ball some. And so in those critical situations, you have to make some plays, right? And you're gonna have to hit some 20-yard plus plays. Like you have to have some passing attack. It's not going to be great.
Well, so here's the question on
hit
that.
Some.
So it's like, so what's the how low can that go? How low can that number be? But I mean, is the number of passes. So like, if you go into this game,
I thought it was an interesting question somebody asked for Ravens mailbag this week. They were like, could this look like the 2009, I think it was, playoff game, or 2010 playoff game in New England, right, where Joe Flacco like had a really hurt hip, I believe.